Welcome back. I'm reading Chapter 20 today, Times Square Square Off. The spiraling light whirled out of Central Park and transported Alex and the stone statues to Times Square. They landed on the rooftop just below the Times Square ball that drops every New Year's Eve. The world-famous intersection was completely empty, but all the flashing lights, the illuminated billboards, and the giant video screens had been left on during the evacuation. Alex sat on the edge of the roof and sobbed over the death of her friend. The curse made her emotions skyrocket, but she wasn't consumed by much more than grief. Her head filled with thoughts of guilt. It was her fault the witches had invaded the other world. She was to blame for all the damage and fear they had caused. If it weren't for her, Rook would still be alive. As Alex tormented herself, she subconsciously caused vines and ivy to grow up the buildings along Times Square. Soon the entire square was covered with plants. Eventually Connor and his friends and the Fairy Council stumbled into the square. Thanks to all the vegetation, they knew they were in the right place. "I see her," Connor announced. "She's up there under the New Year's Eve ball." The lion statues leapt off the roof and landed on the ground. The impact was so strong, Times Square rattled and the lions left paw prints on the pavement. Just as they had done at the library, the lions guarded the building and wouldn't let anyone close. "Alex, I know you're experiencing unimaginable pain right now, but it's very important you listen to us," Emeralda called up to the roof. "The curse you're under stems from a very powerful and very evil magic mirror. It's making you think things that aren't true, feel emotions that aren't real, and it's disturbing your point of view. As difficult as it is, you can't trust anything your body or mind is telling you. The magic only has one purpose, to destroy everything its host holds dear. If you let it deceive you, all will be lost." "But it is all my fault," Alex cried. "If I'd found my Uncle Lloyd sooner, none of this would have happened. If I had stopped the witches in the fairy tale world, they never would have come to the other world. And if I had just forgiven Rook, he wouldn't have felt the need to prove himself and save me." "Alex, none of this is true because I'm the one to blame," Emeralda confessed. "You knew the masked man was dangerous and you did everything you could to stop him. I'm the one who didn't believe you. I'm the one who demanded you call off the search. I'm the one who thought you were being irrational instead of recognizing the signs of a curse. And because of my mistakes, I wasn't there to help the kingdoms when the literary army attacked. I wasn't there to stop the witches from traveling to the other world, and I'm the reason Rook's dead. I take full responsibility for everything that's happened, and now I need your help to fix it. So please come down from there and we can fight the curse together." Emeralda seemed to ease Alex's suffering, but only slightly. Alex searched deep inside her soul and found the strength to block out all the terrible thoughts and feelings the curse inspired. She dried her tears and mustered the courage to join her friends and family below. "Not so fast." Moriana walked out from around the corner and stood between the lion statues. As soon as the witch's presence was known, Alex lost all self-control and the curse took over completely, returning her to Moriana's command. "Why can't you people just stay where I leave you?" Moriana asked. "Let my sister go, Moriana," Connor demanded. "Sorry, but no can do," the witch said. "I've got big plans for your sister, but sadly, you'll just have to take my word for it. None of you will be alive by the time we're through." "Haven't you caused enough damage?" Emeralda asked. "Actually, I've just begun," the witch said. "Alex, hold down your friend so we can finish what we started." Alex nodded and waved her hand over Times Square. Vines shot out of the ground near the Fairy Council's feet and pinned them to the pavement. Long electric cables shot out of the giant video screens and wrapped around Connor, Bree, Red, and Froggy, and then held them against billboards and banners above the street. The lion statues leapt into the air and tackled Mother Goose and Merlin to the ground. "Good girl," Moriana said. "Now I want you to destroy everything and everyone in this miserable world, starting with New York City." Alex nodded again and levitated into the sky high above Times Square. She summoned more vines to grow across the island, working their way through one neighborhood at a time. The plants wrapped around buildings, trees, cars, street lamps, and mailboxes, crushing everything in their path like a tsunami of hungry anacondas. "Since your plan didn't work, you're going to take it out on the whole world, is that right?" Connor asked. "In a nutshell, yes," Moriana said with a sinister smile. However, the witch's smile vanished when she discovered Froggy pinned to the billboard above her. "Charlie," she shouted, "how did you escape the magic mirror?" "I performed a good deed," Froggy said. That's a selfless act one commits for the benefit of someone else, in case you were wondering." "Impossible," she declared. "No one can leave a magic mirror once they're trapped inside of it. The whole point of imprisoning you in one." "That's odd, because I can name 3 people who've been freed," Froggy said. "Perhaps if you were better informed, you might have actually accomplished one of the atrocious plans you set forward." Mariana glared at the frogman. "There'll be no returning from where I send you next," she said, "and that I promise you." The witch raised an open hand toward Froggy and then clenched it into a tight fist. The gesture caused the cables around Froggy's body to squeeze and choke him. The sight of Mariana torturing Froggy made Red's blood boil. When the witch wasn't looking, the young queen managed to free her left hand. She reached into her purse and retrieved the Swiss Army knife she had bought at the airport. She quickly cut herself free and landed on the ground. "Leave the frog alone, you goat!" she yelled. The witch turned around and was very amused to find Red challenging her. "Well, if this isn't the most pathetic thing I've ever seen," Mariana said. "Do you actually think you can stop me?" "Underestimate me all you want," Red said. "It's much easier than facing the truth, isn't it, Mariana?" "And what truth is that?" the witch asked. "How sensationally jealous you are of me," Red declared. Mariana howled with laughter. Connor and the others eyed one another nervously. They had no idea where Red was going with this. "You think I'm jealous of you?" the witch asked. "So far, you ruined my wedding, cursed one of my best friends, and trapped my fiancé in a magic mirror. And now you're strangling him in front of me," Red said. "If that isn't a personal vendetta, I don't know what is. Obviously, something is fueling your obsession with ruining my life, and it doesn't reek of jelly on my side of the ballroom." "Please explain how someone like me could be jealous of someone like you," Mariana said. "I've gutted canaries with higher intelligence." "Like most aspects of my life, brains have nothing to do with it," Red said. "Face it, you're envious of my beauty." "Excuse me?" the witch said. "You heard me," Red said. "I have flawless skin, beautiful eyes, fantastic hair, unnaturally high metabolism, but I'm also kind, considerate, giving, and a good friend. I'm just as gorgeous on the inside as I am on the outside, and no matter how many potions you drink, no matter how many enchantments you make, there will always be a selfish, greedy, hateful, and ugly goat inside of you." The queen's words hit the witch right where it hurt the most. Mariana was so outraged her eyes turned red and the blood in her veins became black. Red's friends in the fairy council closed their eyes, terrified to see how the witch would respond. "You really are the biggest idiot in the universe," Mariana said. "I consider this a favor to mankind." The witch pointed with both hands at Red, and a bright violet light burst out of the tips of her fingers. Just as the deadly blast was about to hit the young queen, Red removed the hand mirror from her purse and used it to shield herself. Mariana's magic bounced off the mirror and headed straight back at her. Mariana was hit with her own magic and burst into millions of pieces. "Who's the idiot now, Mariana?" Red asked. When Connor and the others opened their eyes, they were shocked to see that Red was still standing and the witch was dead. "Darling, that was incredible," Froggy cheered. "Red, you're a genius," Connor shouted. "How did you know the mirror would reflect her magic?" Bree asked. "Glamorous magazine," Red said with a shrug. "I read this wonderful article on the plane that said if a woman wants to be saved, she'll find her greatest savior in the mirror. I don't know who they were talking about, but they certainly saved me." Her friends had never been so thankful for a misinterpretation. Red climbed a ladder and cut Froggy loose from the billboard with the Swiss Army knife. They helped each other down to the ground, but before Froggy could help the others, Red stopped him. "Charlie, I want to get married," she said. "Well, so do I, darling." "No, you don't understand," she said. "I want to get married right now." Froggy knew from the desperate look in her eyes that Red was dead serious. "Sweetheart, are you sure now is a good time?" "I'm positive," Red said. "If the last month has taught me anything, it's how unpredictable life can be, especially when you're friends with the Bailey twins. This could very well be the last chance we'll ever get. Let's do it now, in the square of times, before another magical being can tear us apart." The idea made Froggy's heart fill with joy, but he wasn't convinced it was the right thing to do. "Are you sure this is the wedding you want?" he asked. I don't mean to be crude, but the whole street is covered in witch remains. A large and self-assured smile grew on Red's face. Charlie, I can't think of a better place to get married than in the ashes of your ex-girlfriend, she said. Mother Goose, will you do the honors? Besides being pinned to the ground by a 3-ton lion statue, Mother Goose couldn't think of a reason why she couldn't perform the ceremony. I suppose I'm available, she said. Wonderful, Red squealed. For all intents and purposes, we'll say the Fairy Council are our witnesses. Connor is the best man, and Alex is my maid of honor. Don't worry, Alex. It'll only take a minute, and we'll be right back to helping you. Red and Froggy joined hands and stood in the middle of Times Square as Mother Goose officiated the impromptu wedding. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today against our will to unexpectedly watch this frog and woman join in questionable matrimony. Do you, Charlie Charming, take Red Riding Hood as your lovely, high-maintenance wife? I do, Froggy declared. And do you, Red Riding Hood, take Charlie Charming as your adorably web-footed husband? I do, Red said. Then it is with the power mistrusted in me that I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the frog. Red and Froggy shared their first kiss as a married couple, and their friends cheered. Beautiful ceremony, my dear, Merlin said. Believe it or not, this isn't the strangest wedding I've been to, Mother Goose said. Now will someone get this stone feline off me? Fortunately, they didn't have to. Alex soared across Manhattan as her magic consumed the island below her. The lion statues leapt off Mother Goose and Merlin and followed. Alex jumping around from rooftop to rooftop across the city. Froggy and Red cut the cables around Connor and Bree and then sliced through the vines trapping the Fairy Council. What do we do now? Bree asked. We need to get off this island and regroup with the others, Connor said. Now that she's been ordered to destroy the Otherworld, Alex isn't going to stop until we break the curse. Any idea how to break it? Froggy asked. Just one, Connor said, but I'm praying we find another way. And that is the end of the chapter. The next chapter is called A Brother's Burden. I'll see you guys then.